2-year Mounjaro journey. I'm going to share with you guys today what I have learned since starting a GLP-1 medication back in November of 2022. It's been a long journey. There's been a lot of ups and downs throughout this whole process. So let's go ahead and jump into the top 5 things that I have learned since starting my journey. If you are new here, my name is Brittany. I started on Mounjaro branded back in November of 2022, and I was on that until March of 2024 when the shortages got really bad, and at that point I switched to compounded tirzepatide via Orderly Meds, who I highly recommend. I love everything about them, and I have a link always in the description if you want to check them out. Like, their customer service is just top notch. You send a text to the owner or the founder, he literally texts you back. Like, it's amazing. So anyway, today I'm going to share with you guys, like I mentioned, the top 5 things that I have learned since starting this journey. Now, as always, I am not a doctor or a healthcare professional. I'm not giving you medical advice. Always talk to your medical professional before you make any decisions on dosing or anything regarding your GLP-1 journey. Always have to say that. But the first thing that I have learned, and this is something that I actually learned the hard way, is that maxing out your dosage could actually be a bad thing. And I do have a list here, by the way, of everything that I want to talk about to keep me focused. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. But anyway, there are a few reasons for this. One, if you go all the way up in dosage and you go up every month as the titration schedule says, once you get to 15, there's nowhere else to go. And so you run into the risk of it stopping working because your body adjusts all the way up to the highest dose and it's just not going to work for you anymore. And then you also run the risks of more intense side effects when you move up too quickly or when your body doesn't need it. I gotta fix that sunshine. Hold please. There we go, that's better. But if you move up before your body really needs to be moved up, then you definitely run the risk of having more intense side effects. That is something that I personally struggled with. I went up every month pretty much in the beginning. So I started at 2.5, I was on it for a month, I went to 5 for a month, I went to 7.5 for a month until I got to 10. And then 10 hit me hard. If you've been around that long, if you know, 10 hit me hard to the point where I almost quit. It was so bad, the side effects on 10 milligrams for me personally. And looking back on that now and just seeing how the GLP-1 world and the research and all that has evolved over the past 1.5 years at this point now, since I was titrating up, it's easy to see that it is definitely more beneficial to stay on a dosage that is working for you. And, there are some signs on when it is time to move up, i.e. the food noise returns, you're not getting great appetite suppression, you're not losing any more weight, etc. And moving up just because that's the next thing to do is absolutely not necessary. And if you have a doctor, I would recommend, if you have a doctor that is pushing that, to ask questions. Always ask questions. Always don't be afraid to question your doctor or your healthcare professional on a decision they're making for your health. You have to be your own advocate. So if you don't know why they're moving you up, ask them why. And that, that's the only way to get an answer is to ask. So number 1, don't titrate up until your body is ready. My gosh, it'll save you so much trouble throughout this journey. Number 2, so the headline that I put for number 2 was weight loss is funny. That's literally what I wrote on the paper right there. Weight loss is funny. And it is. And what I mean by that is you're gonna see people who lose weight super fast. You're gonna see people who don't lose any weight on GLP-1s. You're gonna see people who lose weight way slower than everybody else. And that's what I mean by weight loss is funny. But I do believe that people that are truly deficient in the GLP-1 hormone, which is what this medicine is mimicking in our bodies, that this is the answer to our weight struggles. I think that for a long time, obesity was being treated as a choice. Like, you're choosing to be fat, you're choosing to overeat, you're choosing all of this. And now it is moving towards, with the research that has come as a result of these GLP-1s, this research is now suggesting that For a lot of us, weight issues, obesity is a hormone deficiency, because all we're doing when we take a GLP-1 is replacing this hormone. It is a hormone replacement therapy. So those of us that are really deficient in it, I think there's a few signs that I have seen in myself and in other people that'll tell you pretty easily if you are somebody that is deficient in the GLP-1 hormone, and that is you're a good responder to the medicine. So I am what they would call a super responder. And I think that the better you respond, I mean, again, I'm not a doctor, it's just what makes sense in my head. The better you respond to a treatment, the more deficient you are in the hormone. So if it's working really well for you, then that means you probably needed the hormone level. Again, I am like, team, let's develop some type of test so that we can test for this hormone level, because I think, and I do think that will eventually come out as more of these medications come out and as it gets developed more and more. I do think that that's going to be something that happens. However, right now, the best way to tell is how you respond to the medicine. If you're somebody that is not a responder at all, then maybe that's not your problem. You know what I mean? This is not going to work for everybody. There is a specific set of people that this is going to work best for, and that is people who are deficient in this hormone. So that's number two. If you are somebody that's not responding, maybe this just isn't your path. But for those of us that it is, it's magic. It is like a light bulb, a light switch that has been off for our whole life that we are turning on. Number three, I'm gonna make an entire video on this because I've been seeing this so much recently and in my own journey. Hunger is not the issue. Let me say that again. Hunger is not the problem. If you are somebody who is looking to be never hungry ever, then you're looking for the wrong thing. This medicine is to be used as a tool. And the biggest thing I would argue that this medicine does is turn off food noise. So it helps with cravings and it turns off that spot in your brain that is constantly thinking about food, right? We want to be hungry. You want to figure out your body's cues. If you're somebody that has been, struggling with this hormone deficiency for your whole life, you don't know your body's hunger cues. You know most likely what your brain has been telling your stomach for your whole life, and that is eat cake, eat cookies, eat the chips. I want this, I want that, I want food all the time. And so because of that, because you've always had the mind part of it, you've never learned your body's actual hunger cues, because it's not the same for everybody. Everybody is not gonna have stomach growling at dinner time. Some people start to feel weak. Some people get in a bad mood. Some people have stomach growling. And so it's really important that you do not take too much of this medicine to where it's at the point where you do not feel hunger ever, because that's not gonna do your body any favors. Yes, you might not eat a lot and you might lose weight, but in the end, if you do ever get to a point where you have to go off of this medicine, you're not learning your body. You're not learning your body's hunger cues, what it needs, when it needs it, how often it needs it, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're on a dosage that is requiring, or that is making it so that you're never hungry and it's like you have to force yourself to eat, then you're probably on too high of a dosage. This is something that I personally am working with now in my maintenance journey. If you've been around, you know I've been decreasing my dosage over the past couple of months. I actually think I'm getting there. I think I'm getting to this sort of sweet spot where I still feel hunger, but I still don't feel a ton of hunger, but enough, you know what I mean? Because I've been working this whole 2 years to learn my body and to figure it out, and I don't want to be on such a high dose that I'm numb to everything. That's not what we want, people. In the long run, if you want this medicine to be used as a tool to help you and to further your health journey in the long run. So if you're not feeling hungry at all, you might want to consider going down on your dosage. Just my opinion. Okay. Number 4 and number 5, I feel like are more like mental aspects of this. And number 4 is that this is not an easy way out. Again, this goes along with the maxing out dosage, being on too high of a dose for your body. We tend to want the maximum effectiveness so that we can make life easier. And that is how it is in like all facets of life with the American people or with humans in general. We tend to want to do things in the easiest way possible. And so a lot of us will, myself included, go up in dosage because we think we have to, because we want more appetite suppression or whatever, and it turns into taking the easy way out. So you don't want that. You don't want to turn this into the easy way. You, again, want your body's hunger cues. You want to learn what your body needs, what your body requires, what your body likes and what it doesn't like, what foods you can and cannot tolerate on this medication if you are considering using it as a long-term side effect. But you have to change, or long-term treatment, you do have to change your eating habits. And that's what I mean when I say that this is not the easy way out. You cannot, I promise you gonna be sorry if you go and you eat constant fast food and sweets and salty, savory carbs and all of the things that you were eating before. You're gonna be sorry, I promise. I have not talked to one person. If you are one of these people, talk to me in the comments, but I have not talked to, heard from one person that has been able to like tolerate all of the foods and all of the crap and the junk that we were tolerating before. It's just not a thing. For me personally, if I eat sweets and a lot of sugar, I am so sick. Like, it's awful. I feel like grumpy and slumpy and all of the things for all of the days. It's awful. So if you try that out, if you try to just continue eating what you were before, I promise you'll pay for it in your side effects. And it might not click with you right then that, oh, that's what I was doing wrong. I was eating too much crap. But I promise you later it will. When I look back on my journey from the first and second month, I'm like, well, damn. Maybe if I'd have eaten less McDonald's chicken nuggets at that point, I wouldn't have been so sick all the time. It's like, as this journey goes on, light bulbs keep a clicking. And that is one that I promise you, if you learn that sooner rather than later, it'll help your journey out so much and the way you feel overall, and the likelihood of you quitting because of bad side effects will be less, I promise. And number 5, I feel like this is the most important one, but not just necessarily in GLP-1 life, in all of life, is that people will have stuff to say. An ignorant mind should not be paid attention to. There are so many people in the world who do not have this problem, who have not struggled with weight for their entire life, who aren't deficient in the GLP-1 hormone, who do not have their brain constantly telling them that they need something that they don't need, who don't have their brain constantly obsessing over food. There are normal people, quote unquote, normal people out there. And those people, I've noticed in my comment section, in real life, people that find out that I'm on a GLP-1 journey, there are people that will say stuff. There are people that will kind of give you a look and walk away. There are those who are so ignorant to the struggles of the obese community that they think that just eating better and exercising is the simple answer. And all I have to say is, if that worked, don't you think we all would have done it by now? If that worked, don't you think that obesity would not be a thing if it was that easy? I'll go back to the thing that Oprah said in her special, which I'm not the hugest Oprah fan, but I do agree with this, is that she spent years and years and years wondering why other people, other women, other men, other people could turn food away and not eat the entire plate of food that they bought at the restaurant. And it finally clicked for her, and it has for me as well, that it's because they're not thinking about the food. They are not obsessing over the food the same way that we are. They are different. We are not the same. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you're able to turn off the little switch in your head that cares what those people think, because they just don't know. They're ignorant to our struggles. And so therefore we can't listen to what they say about it. That is one of my biggest tips. Do not let people tell you that you are wrong for using this tool to help you. Just don't do it. Don't let people into your mind. Don't let people into your space that are going to deter you from what is going to make you a happier, healthier person. Just don't do it. I promise it'll make you feel better. So those are the biggest things, but there are so many more things that I have learned over the course of this journey. Let me know if you want a part 2 of this, because I actually had a hard time narrowing it down to the ones that I felt like were the most beneficial to talk about, because I got lots more. In fact, there was a list of about 30 things that I had, and then I picked, like I started with a big list and then I picked and made a smaller list. So if you want to see part 2 of this video, let me know down below. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I will see you guys tomorrow. We are going to be discussing why women lose more weight on GLP-1s. This is a really fascinating study, one that totally makes sense to me now that I read through it, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. So stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Let me know, as always, how you are moving your body today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.